Welcome to the Between Brothers podcast. The Chancellor of Charisma, my elder brother Zero, in the building, along with myself, the Duke of Debonairness, Lando, in the building. This is the Between Brothers podcast, back again for another week of foolishness and our opinions on it. Zero, how's your week?
Um, yeah, last week it snowed, right? Yeah. So, I couldn't, I just can't not say it. So, so we all knew it was gonna snow on Wednesday, but of course they had to watch from morning time until for the basically the entire day. So we talked about it. My job could have scheduled me for my job could have scheduled me for Wednesday, and they chose to have me off. But then it wasn't until the last minute when they decided to not have me work on Thursday. It's like the incompetence is pretty damn crazy. Like, so you don't have me work. I mean, it could have just been a half a day, but you don't have me scheduled for the day the snow comes, but you have me scheduled for the day roads would more likely be undrivable, back roads anyway. Like, it's like this place gets dumber and dumber by the minute. But yeah, we but took the took the kids out, played in the snow. Um, Thursday and Friday they had to do school. Yeah, they had to do their in school stuff. So the 2 days I was able to, um, I would help them out when they needed it. So, but other than that, nothing much anyway.
Um, yeah, my job was kind of weird with the snow. They told us they were gonna close, or they were like we couldn't come in because we were in a training, and then they were like, well, and we were like, hey, well, if we wanted to work, what would it be like? Because I didn't think the snow, and also I'm not somebody who's um scared of driving in the snow, so I was like, you know, I can, if I wanted to come in, could I come in? And then they're like, oh, and then they're like, well, you're going to close or you're not going to work, but we're going to take a PTO day. And then everybody was upset about that. But then they were like, well, you can't come in because everybody who would train you is going to work from home, but we're still taking one of your PTO days. And
Mm,
I was like, but if we wanted to work, we're not able to. Like, I can't just pull up one of my coworkers' cribs,
yeah,
and start and work alongside of them. So then they were like, so then today they were like, okay, we didn't touch any of your PTO days. So we were out of work from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Um, the Duchess's daughter's birthday was Tuesday, but we did a birthday party for her Saturday. She got a nice haul when it came to the funds. We did karaoke. It was a good time. Her sister came up from Florida, and the Duchess was like, "Oh, I'm so glad like you were so inviting and this and that and the other." And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm not inviting. Maybe that's maybe I'm less invited than I thought I was. Cause I don't know why I got praised for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yo.
And we went to Dave and Buster's. Went to Dave and Buster's Sunday. Cocoa Puff hit another jackpot. So this girl, every time we hit the spot, she hit the jackpot. You know what I'm saying? So we like, yeah, we gotta keep her. So it's funny because the Duchess's son, we we he ended up going with Link for for his uh to share the card. So it was him and Link on one card, the three girls on one card, and then me and Cocoa Puff and the Duchess on another card or whatever like that. So
Mhm.
the girls won the most tickets, but to be honest, I didn't feel like they won the most tickets because it's kind of like averages. Like they scored the most points for the season because they played more games. So they won the total points boy. They LeBron of the joint, but we didn't play every game. Wasn't a ticket winning game.
Mhm.
So and they beat us by like 800. So it's like yeah, like you led the NBA in scoring, but you averaged 23 or 26. But I'm the scoring title winner because I averaged 32. You know what I'm saying? I just played four less games than you or whatever. I don't know how the math works out, but yeah. So we did that and had some fun. So we go to this at our church. We go to this thing called a short term group, which is an 8 week long thing. And we were talking about blended families and we're in a group of blended families because we are blended families. And so there's one guy, me and him, we kind of, bonded a little bit. So we were talking, and I was driving home from church yesterday morning, and I was telling, because there's squirrels in our house again. So I was like, yeah, I was like, yeah, I was like, I want to kill these things, but apparently killing them isn't going to really keep them from like it's just going to be a new squirrel that gets in there or
Mhm.
whatever. So the guy was telling me like the stuff I can get to keep them out of the house or whatever. And so, oh shoot, I gotta look that up. But I was like, yeah, I wanted to learn. So he was talking about how he couldn't be in the house. So he was like, and he's kind of shorter guy, and he was like, yeah. So I was knee deep in the snow. Well, I'm sorry, let me go back. So I told Link, like, yeah, man, I want to learn how to hunt. And so he was like, for what? What are you gonna hunt? And I was like, something big like a deer. So I was like, I need this, I need to, what's the word I'm looking for? I need to satisfy my hunger for, 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 for taking life. You know what I'm saying? So, because I can't take the squirrel's life because I don't have the tools to take the squirrel life. And also, I haven't shot a gun since I was like, I'm 36 now. So, like, I haven't shot a gun since I was 22, I think 22, 23. So, and I don't own a gun. So I'm like, okay, like I want to learn how to shoot something too, or shoot in general as well. So, you know, I'm like, man, it's so crazy. I was like, man, God be hearing my prayers. Cause what two things I've been praying for this year. One, new friends, and two, um, not just new friends, but new friends that can teach me things that I don't know, like even maybe more diverse friends, because I don't. There, I was really close with two guys, white guys or whatever, but we've kind of grown apart over the years, distant over the years. So I really don't have any like real tight knit relationships with anybody Caucasian right now. So um, where we talk on a regular basis, anything like that. Uh, so me and this other guy have been talking for a little bit. Like we go to this church group, and we're kind of like trauma bonding because the way our relationships with our exes have kind of are almost identical to each other. So he's like, yeah, I had to go out knee deep in the snow to hunt some deer. I was like, you do what now? He's like, oh yeah, I hunt deer, and he's like, I don't really do squirrels anymore. He was like, but he was like, oh, you want to get a crossbow? He was a matter of fact, I got some airsoft guns I can get you. You know, you just let me know. I'll bring them next weekend. We can loan you a couple. You can, do some target practice in your backyard. I'm like, you sir are a godsend. So, but he's a cool dude. Shout out to him. I ain't gonna put his name out there because I don't know if he wants that out there. But yeah, he's a mad cool dude. Wife is cool as hell. Matter of fact, her and the Duchess, like some of their quirks and stuff, they have those things in common as well. So it's a very funny dynamic that we have. But yeah, I'm just glad that our church has things where you can be in community with people and things of that nature. Because in all honesty, if it wasn't for that, I don't think I would ever even. I haven't actually, because the church is kind of big. I haven't actually seen him at the church, but I don't know what service he goes to or whatever because we go to the 9 o'clock one. But and I think they do like 9, 10:45, and like a late afternoon one, I think. So so yeah, so it's been a I'm just excited. So he said springtime around April is wild turkey season. So I have plans to go hunt some wild turkeys. And I don't know how long you can store them for, but I might not have to buy my own turkey for Thanksgiving. I don't know, but I'm excited to learn how to track something, hunt something, kill something, take it apart, skin it. I'm excited. I'm excited. So yeah, coming soon to a neighborhood near you. But yeah, man. But that's my spiel. That was how my week went. But Zero, once again, you taking the lead on the podcast, dog. Because you're the one with the topics. You know a lot more about the situations that I do. So the floor is yours, man. What direction you want to take this?
Okay, so it's been going around for the longest since All-Star Weekend, because All-Star Weekend happened, and then you also had hockey's Four Nations Challenge happen as well. So, you know, we
Hockey don't
had
do an All Star game no more.
I think this is the first time they've done something like this.
Okay.
I'm not too sure. I have to get back to you on that one. So, um, shoot, and what's it called? The U. Somebody wants the best 2 out of 3 because the first game, the U.S. beat Canada, and then in the championship game, Canada beat the U.S. So it was like, yo, we gotta have that rubber match. But that's neither here nor there. So, so it's been a lot of talk going around about All Star Weekend and how bad it was, because you had like rookies playing in the All Star game, which folks didn't like. You had there's like you had the LeBron situation where where he was a late scratch, and unfortunately because he said he couldn't play as late as he did, another guy couldn't be called up to be able to take his spot on the All-Star team, which caused a major uproar because it made folks feel like LeBron did this on purpose. And then you have analysts like PK Subban saying that basically the players are at fault for everything that's going on because the players are the ones that made the money. They're the ones that are the attraction, and they're the ones that have to like who was it? I don't remember, it was Chris Canty that was on the show. He said that his veteran said leave the game better than how you found it. And it seems like today's NBA players are not holding true to that. But traditionally with basketball, it seems like it's always been a thing where the previous generation has an issue with the generation today. And it seems like players are like, I got my money. I mean, it is what it is. You have other players from the past complaining about how players are playing now and everything that's been going on. But there was a guy, I can't remember. I wish I could remember what his name was. He said it was on the media as it was the reason that the NBA is where it is. He says the media has to take responsibility for their role in everything versus basically it was like not necessarily absolving the players, but absolving the players. So like there's too many things that have been going on. Like All-Star Weekend has been getting worse and worse and worse and worse every single year. And it seems like I forgot who it was that said it. To say it seemed like the moment Kobe left, who was somebody who was ultra competitive and somebody who upheld that tradition of um of being competitive even in an all-star game, that went away the moment he retired. And then you have LeBron who you have LeBron who hasn't is like when it came with to him, and then everybody that plays around him is like there's been more and more lackadaisical. It's like it's basically like the All-Star game is basically turned into a layup line that people got to pay to see. Like, nobody wants to see a 60-minute layup line. So it's like, but there are folks that believe the players are to blame, and there are others that are saying the media is to blame for how the way that the game is played. So let me ask you, Lando, what side of the pendulum do you land on? Is it on the media or is it on the players?
It's on the players. I mean, it's really that simple. We don't need to complicate it. The media doesn't dictate the effort you put into what you do. Um, Nobody should dictate the effort in what you put in for what you do. So here's here's the issue. So like I need I need to understand this from an NBA athlete. And they don't really have to tell me anything. They're far levels above what I could ever even dream of as a basketball player. But like, I just need to understand this. The fans are essentially the ones that pay your salary. Because if it's not for the fans buying tickets, memorabilia, and cable packages, and TV
Concessions.
packages, and concessions and things of that nature, the league wouldn't exist. So let's stop acting now. Not that doesn't mean that the fans could treat you however they want when they are at the games. Just like when the NBA play, I never have an issue when an NBA player gets a heckler from kicked out of the game. I never have an issue with that. So I'm usually on the side of players. But when you're, let's say, um, I think Jason Tatum was the one who just got the big deal for 300 million. So like,
Mm-hmm.
let's say you're a guy who's getting paid $300 million. Um, why is it that you're also not? I'm just using them as his contract example. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying he's the example. If
Yeah,
I'm getting paid $300 million, why is it that they're like, okay, we're going to pay you $300 million a year. You get paid for the All Star game. I don't know what the money is for the All Star game. I don't know. There's incentives for to making the All Star game, but it's like, oh yeah, and to participate in the dunk contest, the winner gets $1 million. Like, not not saying like they shouldn't get paid for it, but why is it that that has to be the thing to get superstars to do it? Like, you like they the NBA has created the NBA players have a sense of entitlement that I don't think any other league has. And the issue is football's not far behind. Because in all honesty, the Pro Bowl got bad way before the NBA All-Star Weekend got
absolutely.
bad. So now I don't know why but I get why NFL players don't care to do it because it's at the end of the season. They're kind of already in vacation mode because
Mm-hmm.
their seasons are over, especially the years when they did it after the Super Bowl. And they've been beaten up on for, and not saying NBA players don't have a fit. NBA is not a physical game because it's a very physical game in some areas, but it's not football, especially NFL football. It's not a collision sport. So when you see hockey players giving it their best, and you even see now baseball has
Yeah, they got an incentive. Whoever wins gets home field
gets
advantage.
home field for the so, and I don't think it necessarily needs to get that extreme. But baseball was not having a very good All Star weekend or All Star game specifically until that. But like I don't understand what happened to guys wanting to prove themselves as like certain things. Like you're in the game full of all your peers, the best player. Like you guys are the best 24 players in the league right now, according to how the All Star format should be. Not saying every elite player makes the All Star game, but
Yeah.
generally speaking, you're one of the 30 because it's not usually a ton of snubs. You're generally one of the 30 best players in the game right now. Why
Mm-hmm.
is it that you're not taking the All Star game to show that you're the best player in the game?
And
Because
it always makes no sense because nobody takes it serious. But then you have players who get upset about not making it for them to then make it and then not take it serious.
oh my god, like that's a wonderful like way to put it. Like you did like you're not gonna like I've literally seen LA fitness runs with NBA players. I might be getting the gym wrong, but like Drew League runs where NBA players are playing harder than they do in the All Star game, and those are just regular guys for the most part. Not saying like they aren't skilled guys. Like I think Frank Nitti is like the big example of
Mm-hmm.
a guy who was like an NBA level talent probably, but he isn't in the NBA for whatever reason. But apparently, there's a lot of really talented basketball players that go through the Drew League that give NBA players some business. Now, of course, the lack of structure and things of that nature, they're system players versus, pickup basketball guys or freelance basketball guys. Like LaMelo Ball really isn't, he's not really a system guy. So he plays like he's playing pickup basketball, and that's why he doesn't win. But like, you have these guys playing in that manner against regular guys, and this is for you to show that you're the best player in basketball. In my opinion, the All Star game, as far as how good you play in the All Star game, is a bigger indication of the world's best basketball player than the finals is because you're not going up, you're not always going up against, let's say, the number two best basketball player in the world.
Yeah,
You
the
know what I'm
number
saying?
two best
Actually, you're
basketball.
almost never doing that.
Yeah, the number two best basketball player in the world probably got eliminated in the first round because his team ain't all that good. While
Exactly.
you,
Exactly. Because in my opinion, Giannis is still the best basketball player in the world. But Giannis ain't never gone up against Jokic.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? And Giannis hasn't gone up against most likely won't go up against SGA. And Giannis and what's his name? Or Luca you can put in there or whatever. So it's just like
yeah,
so it's I'm naming those guys because they play
yeah,
in the Western
yeah,
Conference. But like, it's like it's one of those things where it's like the championship, just like we were talking about this the other or last week and maybe the week before. Like people have skyrocketed Jalen Hurts into the top 5 quarterback discussion, and I'm like, well, is he a good quarterback? Yeah. And should he be top 10? Maybe. I think he's a top 10 quarterback, but to shoot him in the top 5 just because he beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's just like, okay, that's great, but like, let's not act like they were a bad team. Let's not act
mm,
like, saying like the multitude of things. And like I said, let's not act like he really played dominant football throughout the playoffs. He didn't.
yeah,
So it's not like the year Joe Flacco went and he was like unbelievable the entire playoffs, or Eli Manning the 2 years that they won the Super Bowl. Like he was playing unbelievable football. So it's just like, when you're going back to the All-Star game, it's like, yo, this is my chance to show the best that I'm the best.
and you know what? And folks were even talking about, yo, they should have a one-on-one tournament. And then somebody put up a video. They were talking about the women when they had the unrivaled
The
three
three
on
on three
three.
league. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a one-on-one tournament, and Brianna Stewart was the number one overall seed, and
Got
she
cooked.
went 12 goose egg, and they were like, now you understand. It was like, she played a player who was a rookie last year, but when you're playing one on one, it's a
It's
completely
a
different
completely
game.
different game.
So it was like, yeah, she was a rookie and everything of that nature, but when it came to playing one on one, it was a whole different ball game. It was like, do you really? It's like because they said when it comes to the WNBA doing something like that, you'll hear about it, and then that'll be it.
Yeah.
But if
But
you
the
heard
NBA
Steph,
was doing
yeah,
that.
if a
Oh
Steph
my
Curry,
God. It'll be
if
it would be the story for the rest of the until the playoffs, probably, depending on who won.
yeah, if Steph Curry lost 12-0 against
Ben
against the
Thompson, that'd be crazy.
yo, he lost 12-0 to that guy. It didn't matter. Yo, he could probably score 40,000 points for the rest of the year, and they still would be like, yo, but you lost to Amen Thompson though. Like it don't matter what you did. It was like, yo, he'd be dragged so badly. So it was like the ego wouldn't even allow NBA players to actually want to be in a one on because like playing one on one is a completely different thing than playing a 5-on-5. But even then, they could probably go on the backdrop and say, "Well, I wasn't really taking it too serious." So,
Yeah, and I don't necessarily need a one-on-one tournament for the NBA. I love that the WNBA or the women's players are doing that because it's bringing more attention to their game
mhm.
or to their league. Even this 3-on-3 thing, it's not a WNBA thing, but it's all WNBA players.
Yeah,
They're all hooping and doing very well. So, and it's a league where they don't have to go overseas and deal with the overseas stuff to
hmm
continue to make money. So I love that. I don't think Caitlin Clark is playing in it, and it's
she's
doing
not.
just fine without it.
Yeah,
It's doing just fine without her. So like, I'm sure it would do better with her, but it's doing just fine without her. So it's like,
mhm,
um, with that being said, I don't necessarily need that for the NBA. I just want them to play basketball.
mhm.
Like, stop the BS when it comes to what you guys are calling an All-Star game. This isn't a basketball game. That's the problem with it. And that's the problem with now the Pro Bowl, where they're doing this flag football thing. It doesn't look like a football game, or it doesn't look like a basketball game. It just, like you said, it looks like a layup line in a 3-point shooting contest, but we just spent 20 minutes last night watching a 3-point shooting
Yep.
contest. So why do I want to? And then you got like the Mac McClung. Everybody's saying he's saving the dunk contest. Don't get me wrong, he's put together some really good dunks and everything like that. But I'm like, he's getting two boosts. He's getting the rare white guy who can dunk boost, and he's getting the shorter guy who can dunk boost. So he's getting two boosts, and he can do kind of he can do solid dunks and get 50s just because of that. I'm not saying that's why. I don't think that they're purposely giving him those 50s because of that. But I think it's similar to the Caitlin Clark effect. It's an anomaly to see a Caucasian person dominate the game the way she had, or Larry Bird winning 3 consecutive MVPs, but Michael Jordan never did, because it's a Caucasian person. We don't see this.
Yeah.
Similar to Cooper DeJean, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's like,
I was just about to say that Matt McClung is the Cooper DeJean of
yeah, you know
basketball.
what I'm saying? Except Matt, no, I think that's an insult to Cooper DeJean, because he's actually a good player.
Oh yeah,
But like,
because Cooper DeJean is actually playing
yeah,
at the
yeah,
highest
he's a
stage.
starting cornerback for one of the
While
best defensive teams in football, while
while
Mac
Matt
McClung
McClung
only gets upgraded for the All-Star weekend.
and then goes
So
right
like,
back to the G. He goes right
I
back
mean,
to
he's
being
G
a
League
mad ant.
MVP. He's G League MVP, but I don't know I
Look,
don't know enough about the G League to really know if
he goes back to playing for the Mad Ants because he got traded for some sandwiches.
so like, yeah, it just doesn't look like a basketball. And not saying that there aren't like a little, like, it used to be like the first half, maybe the first quarter, the game, that's when you did kind of the antics, Harlem Globetrotter type of stuff and things of that nature. And then it was 3/4 of real basketball, or
Yeah.
half of real basketball. But that's where it started getting worse, because it started, I don't know how, it's in my lifetime, I would say it was the first quarter was kind of like the foolish antics where you see Isaiah Thomas dribbling the ball with his fingers and individual fingers and stuff like that. I didn't watch that All-Star game, but I don't think I was born during that All-Star game, but like, you see that stuff, and you see, the Shaq trying to cross up a guard or something like that. You'll see, first quarter, and that was it. After that, it was a game. And
Yeah.
then it started being, okay, the second half became the game. Then it started being the fourth quarter started being the game. And
then the
now it's
last
not a game
5 minutes.
anymore. Then it was like half the fourth quarter. So it started like distancing itself more and more and more. I don't know if it was exactly when Kobe retired or left the game. But I don't know what the timeline was. I think people may be doing a little bit of nostalgia, because it's like the last competitive All-Star game you remember was when Kobe was in it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that whole All-Star game was a competitive game when Kobe was in it. So I don't remember every quarter of every game, All-Star game I've watched. But when Giannis, because Giannis was the last person I saw take it serious. And that was some years ago. And when Giannis said he wasn't going in it, I didn't want to watch it. And, SGA is my second favorite player, but he's not like a perennial All-Star and things of that nature as of yet. I think it's the second All-Star game. So it's like, I don't know the energy he carries or things of that nature. So it's just one of those things, when you see like Ant Edwards shooting left-handed jump shots and stuff like that, and doing like, none of these guys are taking it serious, and they're like, oh yeah, you already pay me $50 million a year, but for an extra $1 million, I would take it serious. And it's like, why does that need to be the incentive? You're already getting paid 100 times more than the guys who were taking it serious, and like you said, like, left the game, like they're not leaving the game better than how they found it. They're not progressing the game. And again, I'm not a fan aesthetically of the three jacket when it comes to basketball. Like, I miss strategy. That's one of the reasons why I love Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. because he's a real, excuse me, 3-level scorer, and he's going to take you to the mid range. I love DeMar DeRozan for that very reason. You know, I love a lot of guys who play on every level of the game and will post you up and will do something. SJ doesn't really post up, but like, don't do those things or whatever. I love Kyrie because he'll post a guy up. But I don't know what, like, is there a fix? I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think, like I said, for the NBA players to make the media their scapegoat, I think is kind of ridiculous to me, because it's like, what is the media? What the media has to say? What you doing? Like at the end of the day, the fans are gonna remember who you were because of what you put on the court, on the hardwood. They're not gonna remember. Most fans aren't gonna remember what the media said about you. They're gonna remember what they saw you do.
Mm-hmm.
Because just think about like, I'm trying to think of somebody. Like, the media never spoke well about Carmelo. There ain't a single person I know who watched Carmelo Anthony play basketball and sat there and said, "Yeah, Carmelo Anthony was a horrible basketball player." Man, he was, like, I remember when what's his name, when Kenny Smith, somebody from the media has said that Carmelo don't play good defense. And Kenny Smith said, when have you ever seen somebody who wasn't an elite offensive player give Carmelo work? For you to say that. But that was what the media was saying. But the real hoop was like, bros don't be giving him buckets like that. So, like, how is he
ain't nobody
not
just
saying he
saying
was
that.
a lockdown defender, but how is he a bad defensive player? And then the guy tried to change it up. He was like, oh, well, I'm talking about help defense. But nobody's ever thought of a guy nobody's ever called a guy a bad defensive player due to his help defense. Nobody's ever, because at the end of the day, if you need help defense, that's because you couldn't stay in front of your man, which makes the person who needed the help the bad defender. So, like I said, don't look like a real basketball game. It's just a guy. It's not. It doesn't even look like a workout. It's guys walking the ball up the floor, not really doing anything. Like, it's literally on some real junk. It's literally, how can I put this? Like I don't think the game of most of the All-Star game really gets into any sets, actions, anything like that. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a lot of guys kind of standing in between the 3-point lines. Mm-hmm. And then there's a guy to catch a lob.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't look like a basketball game. It's just like, man, y'all train harder than this. Y'all practice harder than this. We come to see, and this All-Star game tickets aren't cheap.
Yeah, this ain't a free event.
They're the most expensive tickets you can get outside of maybe 2 superstars playing in a city, and depending on what the teams are, and the playoffs. And it depends on how deep you are in the playoffs. Also, because you're paying to see all these $200-300 million contract guys play. So they're not cheap tickets. And we travel from all over the country to come to this city.
And it ain't just a one-day event either.
Yeah, and even if you're there for just the All-Star game, like, that's a lot of stuff that you got going on, and they're traveling from all over the country to come to this random city. Friggin', who the hell wants to go to Indianapolis, which I think is where it was last season? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody. I don't know where it was this season because I didn't care. But
I think it was in Phoenix. I think it was in Phoenix.
Yeah. Okay, so, but like, we
no, it was in the Bay Area. It was in the Bay Area.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because I think people were saying that's why. I don't even know how Steph did. I heard people saying that's why he won All-Star Game MVP. But, like, it's just one of those wild things where it's like, all right, bro, like, we're watching the best players in basketball not play basketball.
And here
So
and even with the
I don't know
incentive
what that has to do with the media.
and even with the incentive thing, it was like was a few years ago. I think they were I think they were were they like donating to the United Negro College Fund? It was like whoever won the quarter, it was like whoever won the quarter, a certain amount was donated. Whoever won the game, I think it was like a
Yeah.
hundred. It was like, damn, that like to donate to a charity wasn't even incentive enough for y'all to play hard. It's like
And they're like, okay, give me the money that, like, because you need more money. You need more money to play a game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. Like I said, I would think, hey, no, I want, and I'm like, who's gonna be the guy to set the tone? You know what I'm saying? Like, who's going to be the person to reset this?
yeah,
I don't
because
see anybody doing that because these NBA players, like when you got guys like Ben Simmons still in the NBA, people paying them money, there's no way you should believe that this is going to change anytime soon
yeah,
because people, not, though I hate Ben Simmons, not to get on Ben Simmons, but it's just like that cement. This guy felt like he should not play basketball and get paid hundreds of millions of dollars because his back hurt and he was sad that his team wanted to trade him because he sucked.
niggas play harder in practice than they did this.
That's what I'm saying.
And what's it called? I couldn't even tell you who would be able to set the tone because you got players like Giannis getting older. LeBron's going to be gone soon, but who's to say that he was even taking this serious? What's his name? We already know. What's his name? How did I forget dude from Minnesota's name already? You just said it.
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards.
He's
It was
already
like
not taking it
not
serious,
only
and
does he not take it
he's of the
serious,
younger people,
yeah, he
early
don't
twenties.
not only does he not take it serious, like he don't even want to take up the mantle as the face of the NBA. So we already know he ain't gonna
To be
do it.
honest, I don't see why you. I know people's been trying to put him there. Not, no offense, but this is gonna be offensive. Why would you want your face of the league to be a dude with 8 baby mamas and 14 kids? I mean, I'm exaggerating both of those things, but come on. Like he's like 24 with 9 kids, like by
And he's
all
been in the
different
league,
women.
and he's been in the league for what 3 years now.
He's been in the league for 12 minutes and already got that many baby mamas. He got a
Yeah.
baby mama for every minute he been in the league. Like,
it's
what?
like it's like yeah,
Entertaining,
and
hell of a player. I'm not interested in having him as a face of my league.
yeah, it's like and it's like who else? It's like of course you're not gonna have Jokic because Jokic don't even really like the way that he's nonchalant about the game anyway is like, oh, season's over. I just want to take care of my horses. I don't really care too much about anything else. It's like everyone
I ain't
thinks
mad at. I don't
everyone,
think a big man in this day and age could be the face of the league.
and then you can't. And then who else is there? Because they don't. But I brought up Jokic not even just because of that, but it seems to me like a foreigner can't be the face of the league according to folks. So you can't have Luca as the face. It was like,
I think Luca could be. I mean, I think Otani changed that. I think Otani has changed that ideal of
well, no,
a
Otani
foreigner
changed that
can't.
for. I think Otani
No,
changed
I'm
that for
saying,
baseball,
but
but
that was a thing overall in all sports
what's it called?
because it was an American-based sport. Like
Oh yeah,
unlike
yeah, yeah.
hockey, that
No,
was more, a foreign sport. Canadian, I think it started in Canada, and the Canadian League was the best league until the NHL. So like, and
yeah, but
also
then
but like when with baseball, with America being like the best baseball country, basketball being the best, the USA being the best, I think that's why they would want that. So, but that's
yeah.
why I say
Oh,
I think Otani's changed that stigma
But
for
even
foreigners in general.
and I completely get that, but the fact that they keep on trying to push Anthony Edwards or somebody American to be the face of the league makes me feel like they can't, not only just a foreigner, a white foreigner being the face of the league. Like I don't think they want that at all. So it's like they keep pushing the envelope. It's like, yo, it's like Anthony Edwards, you're gonna be the face of the league whether you like it or not. It was like
I think part of it is the flash. And what I mean by that is even though Luke is a really good player and he does some like I mean he's a really good passer, like he does some
yeah.
flashy passes and stuff like that. Dude ain't magic. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
dude ain't heeing down the court every night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Like
got you.
like you know, with the
He ain't yet
not
he ain't
even just
yamming on
like
niggas.
yeah. So it's like I'm trying to use Magic Johnson because he's probably the closest game wise. But like
Yeah.
Magic Johnson in transition, the only player in transition that I can think of who was almost as good, maybe just as good, was Jason Kidd.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason Kidd wasn't as flashy with the passing and things of that nature. Um, but but like Magic Johnson is coming down the court full speed, tween behind the back, like in the 80s where that wasn't really a thing, you know, and like carving up guys full speed. Like Luka doesn't even do that. Like, you know what I'm saying, when he's in transition. It's a
Mm-hmm.
very basic game, but it's very crafty because he knows how to use his body and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But like, you know, you just don't, you know, so Luka's game, I think is more of a flash
Like yeah,
aspect.
he's not
Because
he
same
doesn't
thing with
have the aura.
yeah, no, I think he does. It's just again, it's the flashiness. Because if he was more like Magic, I don't think anybody would have an issue with him being in the league or being the face of the league. But when you got Anthony Edwards who can dunk on people like crazy, like LeBron did, like Jordan did, like Kobe did, you know, like these guys I'm mentioning were faces of the league. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and Magic was the first face of the league, and they even try to make Larry Bird the face of the league. That's why they kind of kept giving him MVPs. But he was
Mm-hmm.
never the face of the league. Magic Johnson was the charismatic guy,
Yeah.
you know, things that, and not saying Luka isn't charismatic, but like, and but you know, when you think of those players, it's like they were all so charismatic. They were all so fun. They were all so energizing. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, but and everybody talks about like how you know, Jokic doesn't really care or show. I never felt that. They try to make, they try, they, Steph Curry, Steph Curry, with his ball handling and 3-point shooting, they were trying to make him, but he was just, his prime being also alongside LeBron's prime. LeBron was just a more dominant figure as a player, even though Steph was winning all the championships. But like they try
Mm-hmm.
to do Kevin Durant up there. Kevin Durant isn't. I've always thought Kevin Durant was very nonchalant about basketball, as far as like, it's not saying he wasn't competitive or whatever, because Jokic is competitive too, but like to try to make him the face of the league, no. Giannis is the same way, so, and I think that's like Luka. Luka's probably the only European player that shows charisma. I love Giannis, and Giannis is an entertaining player, but I don't think that he's a face of the league type of guy either. And you know, like I said, he's my favorite player in basketball. So like, I think that's what it is for Anthony Edwards. And I don't know who else, because Shea has a great game, but it's not a flashy game. James Harden has a great game, has the handles, was a dominant force in the league, but he wasn't really he wasn't really kind of like that high flying type. Because you know, sometimes I look at James Harden when he's about to dunk, and I think he's gonna miss. It's like almost every time I think he's gonna miss the dunk. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't really jump very high. You know, there's not really left-handed guys usually aren't very springy for the most part. But like you know what I'm saying? So it's just like they've tried to transition from LeBron as his age has gone up, and so they're definitely pushing the Anthony Edwards thing. But like I said, I wouldn't want somebody with his reputation. I mean, dude literally got text messages forcing women to get abortions and things of that nature. Like, I don't want that guy to face my league. I
Yeah.
think, to be honest, if John Morant learned how to not put guns on social media, he would have been perfect.
Yeah.
He would have been perfect. If Zion Williamson learned how to not eat, put himself on a
Everything.
calorie restriction, he would have been. I don't think he's charismatic enough, but he would have been. He would have been a good option. You know, so it's just it's. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't get it. I really don't get it, and I don't get why people are blaming the media for this.
Yeah. It's
Like,
like,
they're blaming inside the NBA for talking about what they see. And it's like, oh, it's inside the NBA that's doing it because it's the most watched basketball post game show. And I'm like, but there's other basketball post game shows, and everybody's seeing the same thing. The Celtics are one of the best teams in the league. All they do is jack threes. Like, I think they're on pace to set it, like, destroying the record for most 3-pointer shot and made. Like, destroying it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like they don't even have the Splash Brothers. They have nobody on their team as good as shooting threes as Steph and Clay was. And they're about to blow their record out the water. I don't understand that. Like, I really don't.
me
I don't
either.
get how the NBA has gotten to this. Like, and man, and I'm somebody who loved watching basketball. I'm somebody who loved watching basketball. The only games I've watched this season, I watched the opening game, the opening games, both Cavs Thunder games. I haven't watched a game since.
Damn.
And I watched two other games, but in between then, and it was literally and when it came to one game, another game was a Boston Celtics game. I forgot who they played, but it was a 3-point shooting contest. And I'm like, Jason Tatum is one of the best players I've seen at his position in this league in the last 6-7 years. And I don't like watching him play basketball. Like, because everything is a step back three. He don't post up like he used to. He don't handle the ball on the perimeter like he used to. You know, he's I'm like, man, this dude should be the better version of Joe Johnson, and his game is not very interesting to me. And what was the other game I watched? I watched a Nuggets game. I don't remember who they played. Might have been Lakers. It was Nuggets Lakers, and I always enjoy watching Nuggets beat the Lakers, but I like how the Nuggets play. I like how the Nuggets play, and but yeah, it's just it's bad basketball for the most part. It's really bad basketball. There's no strategy to it, and Kobe said this years ago. Kobe was talking about the drive. This it's just drive and kick, drive and kick, drive and kick. Like, there's nothing special about it. There's nothing around it. And so it's like, now, for the first time in my life, I'd rather watch NFL than the NBA. Like, that's never been a thing for me. This season, I watched way more NFL games than I did NBA games. And the NBA has 82 games. 82 games I can watch. I can watch an NBA game every night. And I watched more NFL games than NBA games this year. And I don't if it's not Shea or Giannis playing, and I'm not really even all that interested in all their games, but like I'm really not paying much attention to it. So I don't know. I don't know. Was that both? Because you sent me two things. Was that both? Like were those both of those things like applying to that topic that you were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. I really don't have anything else to say. I think I've put it all out there. So if you wanted to just wrap it up with this, or if you wanted to, if there was something else you wanted to discuss, because you only sent me the two things.
Nah, they ain't nothing else I want to discuss.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. We did it. We did it.
We did it.
Speaking of Jason Taylor, um, yeah. So I don't know what just to wrap it up. I don't know how to fix the NBA. I think it's going to take a group of players that really want to show that they're the best and want to prove it to the world. And I don't know who those players are going to be because you got guys like Zion Williamson who can't put himself on a calorie restriction and he's getting paid $170 million. You got guys like Ben Simmons who got paid $150 million and he doesn't want to play basketball because of his mental health. And then you have, unfortunately, there's guys like Kawhi who really do put in the work and just have a ton of injuries. Speaking, I'm gonna leave that for my party shot.
Right.
But 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 yeah, there's a lot of there's a I don't know when it's gonna begin. I don't know who's gonna be the guy who does it. Like I said, Anthony Edwards, he's competitive, but I don't want a guy with his off the court stuff being the face of my league. Like, to be honest, I think him and John Morant, I don't think that their situations are significantly different from each other.
Yeah.
At least like what's it called? Anthony Edwards actually took a life, actually paid to get a life taken. But I don't know. Maybe life doesn't. You might believe life don't start at inception, at conception. I don't know, but yeah. So I mean, you got one guy who's a wannabe killer and one guy who's an actual killer.
Oh Jesus.
That's my button on it. What you got? Is there anything else you want to add? Or you want to go straight to party shots?
Now let's go straight to it.
Okay, well, I already kind of hinted to it, so I'm gonna do my party shot 1st. I keep seeing if this guy wasn't injured, how good he would be. And it's always Derrick Rose who gets put into this conversation. Kawhi is the guy, if he didn't get injured, what he would have been. This dude is a 2-time finals MVP. This dude was single-handedly dominating the greatest team we've ever seen in the regular season in the playoffs until Zaza Pachulia ruined his life. Like, the Kawhi Leonard is the best basketball player to have gotten hurt, and we didn't see everything he could have became. I love Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose was not the offensive player Kawhi Leonard was as far as efficiency was concerned, and nothing close to the defensive player. And of all the guys who you see in those lists of who I wonder what they could have been, Kawhi is the only one who was dominant on both ends. There's nobody else. All of them were dominant offensive players. He was the only one dominant on the offensive on both sides. So no, I don't want to hear Derrick Rose's name in that conversation anymore. Even though, like, hey, he's the youngest MVP. I don't even think he deserved an MVP. He's the youngest MVP of all time. Whatever, I don't care. Because to be honest, would he have been Russell Westbrook? The all-around player Russell Westbrook became, because athletically they were the same. One can argue that he was probably a little bit more faster than Russell Westbrook, or I don't know if he could jump higher. I don't know what the verticals were. Russell Westbrook was a better defender at the time, Russell Westbrook, I think, put up similar numbers to him at the same time. So yeah, and Russell Westbrook also, almost everybody he's played with became an MVP candidate, or with him, or had their best seasons with him. So he actually did make certain guys better. But anyways, I don't want to hear about Derrick Rose anymore. Kawhi Leonard is the guy, the what if guy, because we saw him take a team that kept getting done in by LeBron and win a championship with them.
Yeah.
That's my parting shot. Also, I don't like Derrick Rose as a basketball player, so let me throw that out there. Just in case they're like, oh, he's a Derrick Rose hater. Yes.
My parting shot is I hate I hate the way that this what professional sports has become when it comes to the quality of the game, the the quality of the game, the way fans get disrespected, the way fans get disrespectful. Like it just seems like no all the way around there's a sense of entitlement. Some of it is justified. Some of it is justified. Some of it is not. At the end of the day, it it gets too out of hand, and honestly, it's like I know there isn't really much that you can change about it with fans because, of course, they spend their hard-earned money to to go watch a game probably once a year. And sometimes I think that's even over exaggerated. It's like, you mean to tell, it's like, yo, we saved up money all year just for us to go to this one game. Like, for real? You saved all your money to be up in the nosebleeds all year to go to one game in the nosebleeds? Like, you can't even watch. It's like you got to watch the game on the big screen. You should have just stayed at home. I'm just saying, but it's like it's like it seems like, especially with the professional athletes, they just don't. It's like they care when they want to, and they gotta understand. Even though like I said, fans be going overboard on certain shit. They gotta understand that this is entertainment, and the shit that y'all doing ain't entertaining. And without said fans, you would not be in the position that you're in now. So that's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just need basketball to get back to what it was. I just watched Better Bia versus Bevo 2. Incredible fight, just like the first one. I'm like,
That's the thing that I forgot about. The fact that Shakur Stevenson fought a dude that was on a roof putting up solar panels before they say, "Yo, you're the replacement." This nigga literally fought a solar panel installer.
yeah, I mean, shoot, that's boxing for real. I mean, like it's similar to because the guy, he was 15-0, I think.
Yeah,
So he was a solid fighter. Um, I don't think he was world class, but who's available and in shape to take a
yeah,
fight last minute. Those are the things that you gotta when there's a late replacement, because the guy Floyd Schofield that he was supposed to fight was a was a significantly better fighter. So I don't knock, but like a lot of people, they're like, oh, like it's similar to the NBA guys way back in the day. It's like, oh, they were plumbers, bankers, and stuff back then, and it's like, but they were still the 1% of basketball players. No
Yeah.
matter, just because they didn't make millions of dollars per per game or whatever, like these guys do now, don't mean that he wasn't a good fighter. So like the people who were judging the hell out of him, he beat every single one of them up, unless they were another pro boxer. So but it sucks because I heard he got paid a lot of money, like he could retire off the money he made off that fight.
Shoot, good.
So I'm happy for him. I'm really
so
happy for him.
He ain't got to slide off no roof like Miguel. Miguel.
¡Ay, Miguel! ¡Miguel!
Send me that video so I can throw that in there. But yeah. But shout out to Shakur, man. That was a good win. But yeah, watch incredible fight, and then I'm so glad because I didn't watch I didn't watch an All-Star game at all, and but I didn't watch a good All-Star weekend. I just watched Casanat airball a bunch of shots.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it for us, people. Thank y'all so much for listening. Love you.